Okay, so here's kind of a video on the modifications I've done for my Cannondale Topstone 1. It's a 2021. I got it last year, obviously. And it's been a great bike so far. And of course, you go down the rabbit hole of the gravel biking, etc. You start finding products and things that are out there that, being a gearhead, I just had to just dive into this. And so, as good of a bike as it was, I'm hoping these additions will make it a little bit better. Let's go ahead and get started. So, as I said, this is a 2021. It's got the GRX. It's a 2x drivetrain. But let's go ahead and start with the wheels. It came with 38 millimeter wide tires on 700Cs. I switched out to the Rene Airs 42 millimeter Hurricane Ridge. Definitely a knobbier tire than what this came with. This came with the Riddler, which had a tighter knobby pattern. It was fine, but I want to give this a try. Supposedly the pattern is a noiseless pattern on the pavement, but gives you a lot of grip on the road, or off-road, sorry. So going from front to back, one of the first things I did was add a Redline stem suspension, 20 millimeter suspension for bigger hits. That has been a godsend. I initially followed the instructions and went with 80 millimeter stem, and it was too short. It pushed me too far back in my saddle. So I went with 100, and that seems to be the sweet spot for me. With that comes a mount here, which you can do GPS or phone. I chose to do phone with a quad lock, and my probably best accessory is my bell. From there, we're going to move down to our top tube bag. Went with the Revelate bolt-on, which is a phenomenal bag so far. Can't complain. It's got more room than I anticipated. This is the mag size, or the bigger size of it. Along with that, I did a half frame bag of the Revelate design as well. Inside, I put some Velcro on both sides, and that's so I can attach things so they don't rattle around too much. And within that, I've got my special tool holster here for a 9. I don't want to say exactly what it's for because I don't know if YouTube will accept that, but you guys can figure out what that is. Fits right here. Pretty easy access. Not a quick draw, but it'll work just fine. Coming down in the frame, I've got a Wolfstooth mount splitter, I guess you'd call it. So you mount this piece here, and it allows you to have two 45-degree mounts on either side, and you can do tools, pumps, or what I did, 2 water bottle cages on the front side. And here I put another adapter that allows you to actually mount your end product at a different position than the bolts are on the frame. So this allows you some wiggle room to move up or down. It allowed me to go further down so I can add my Grail water filter. I got the larger bottle that can go in here, or even the smaller bottle can fit in here. And this is an adaptable, or adjustable, water bottle cage here. So moving up from the frame, as you see it here, another piece of suspension. I've got the Pacific Northwest Components dropper seat, Coast. So it gives me 2 or 4 centimeters of suspension alone, and it drops all the way down here. Now I've got to move back up here. The control for the dropper I placed on the left-hand side of the handlebar, so that, as you can see, when I'm riding, I have control for my brake and my gearing. I just reach my ring finger down here, and I can release or, raise or lower the seat post. And that turned out to be a really great positioning here. I just had to redo the handlebars. Oh, coming back up here, sorry. Pacific Northwest Coast handlebars, which were a little bit wider than stock, and I put the cushiest handlebar tape I can. It's actually called, I can't remember the name of it. It's about 5 millimeters thick, so it's a really thick handlebar tape. And that's been another good addition to suspension. As silly as it sounds, it's made a difference. Coming back on the bike, going to come back to this bag in a second, but we have a Tailfin alloy frame. coming out of England. Probably one of my most expensive additions to this. But it's going to allow me to do a rack bag, which we'll get to. I also added the pannier adapters in case I choose to do panniers, which I have a set. So I have option for that. As you can see, I've got the SKS Speedrocker fenders front and back, and that's been a good addition. These tires are definitely at their limit here, so I'm going to have to try to play with something here to give me a little more space. We'll come around here to the other side. Gearing, it came with 1134 is what it came with. As you can see, I switched to the big plate, the 1142 cassette. I just dialed in the adjustments, and so that's going to allow me some better climbing gears. That should be fine. It is a 2x, so I have a, God, I can't remember the gearing here. A 30 and a 42, I believe. I could be off on that. So that gearing should be really interesting. To this whole setup, last year I got a Burley Coho XC trailer, single wheel, which I'm excited to use. And with that, it's got a big waterproof, basically a pit bag. Just put everything in here and close her up, and it's waterproof. It is a suspension system for the rear tire. And what I had pulled off earlier was what I'm hoping to use as a rack bag, this waterproof duffel. It's 20 liters, which I think is a great size for what's back there. And it's about half or almost a third the cost of what Tailfin's bag is, which I really wanted, but that was a little too rich for my blood. Obviously, I like the color for safety, as well as it just matches the frame. Went with a leather Selle Anatomica seat, which I was leery of, but my friend Dennis, who has done the Transamerica, recommended these, and less break-in period than the Brooks. Can't say enough about it. Absolutely love how this feels on my bottom. I do have a cover for it in case it rains. That's the only hiccup to these, is it can be ruined in the rain. So that's my setup. It's a heavy bike. It's probably, without the bags or anything added, it's about 26 to 27 pounds. But the setup is much more of an upright position, more comfortable than my old Kestrel. So looking forward to some trips. We'll fill you in as the year progresses. See if any other additions are coming to it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment down below kindly if you have any suggestions or comments.